We'll, again, as before, take questions from the room before we switch over to Zoom. So can I first see some hands in the room for people with questions?
David, first of all, well played today. One thing about playing Sri Lanka, you've scored 65, 57, 60 and 100 in your last 4 innings against Sri Lanka in T20s. Do you like playing Sri Lanka that often?
Yeah, look, obviously I don't look at the stats, but you know, sometimes you match up well against different teams, and like tonight I had to obviously start fresh. Everyone was talking about my form, which I reiterated. That's not the thing I'm worried about. It was about going out there and starting well. Obviously Finchy started well, and yeah, we gelled well together out there, and you've got to apply pressure to the bowlers. So that's what I did in my last couple of innings against Sri Lanka, also in Australia. So you get a bit of a flow-on effect when you're out there. So that's all we try and do, is apply pressure to the bowlers every time we cap so we can. But yeah, it must just happen. I don't know. I can't answer that anymore.
Sri Lanka were going well at 78 for 1. Then Sampa came in and just broke the rhythm. Do you think that was the changing point in the game?
Yeah, look, we always know when we play Sri Lanka that when we bowl our fast bowlers, they like to come hard at the fast bowlers. You know, I think that the theory is, you know, if you swing hard at the fast bowlers, you can get it out of the middle. It can go fast. You get those little fine nicks. They stayed nice and still. They hit some balls clean, and then you take the pace off. And obviously a big boundary. So in the first 6, it can happen. They hit the ball cleanly, and then when we took pace off the ball, it was a little bit different. So Zamps has always been very, very good for us during the middle overs. You know, him coming on and striking pretty much straight away was great, and breaking the rhythm. So look, we always knew once we got out of the power play that, you know, it was going to be difficult to hit one side, especially boundaries. And if we could patrol that area and bowl to that side, you can restrict the total a little bit more. So we felt the total that they got tonight was probably around par for this wicket.
Hi, Dave. From TV9 this side. Davey, what you and Aaron Finch both were short of runs. I won't say you guys were out of form, but you were short of runs. So what sort of discussions did you have in the middle before the start of the innings? And did your innings, is this a signal towards some of your critics as well?
It's never like that. I think people who criticise me know exactly what I'm about. So for us, it was really important to have a nice stable base, and seeing Finchy, you know, play straight down the ground, then that nice back cut, you know, that's nice and still. It means you're watching the ball, it means your weight's going through the ball. And it's the same process with myself. You know, you've got to have a nice stable base on these wickets. When people take pace off the ball, you've got to wait for the ball. When there's pace on it, then you can sit on it. So that was the key tonight, and I think he was really stable. Hitting the ball back over the bowler is always a very good sign of a player who's, you know, in nice touch. And as I said the other day in my press conference at home and for everyone, was going back onto synthetic and polished concrete, allowing you to do the basics, because these wickets are getting tired at the practice sessions. The curators have done an unbelievable job to have them up for 12 weeks now. But you need to sometimes go back to a little bit of basics and getting bat on ball, and just doing your normal drills and get your feet dancing. So I think, you know, that's helped, and that's something we'll keep continuing through this World Cup.
Is it shutting your critics down? Is it not?
Shutting the critics down? No, never. That's the world of sport. You either, you know, when you ride the highs, you've got to ride the lows, and you've got to stay confident, keep a smile on your face, and never let it get to you.
Hi, Devi. Congratulations. During the run chase, Theekshana bowled the second over and you reverse swept him for 4. So would you say that was the moment when you sort of knew that tonight's going to be your night? I mean, you know, even you're running between the wickets, both you and Finchy were extremely quick, sort of converting the 1s and 2s as you normally do. Was that sort of the one that set the tone?
Yeah, look, I think I got criticised when I got out to Ashwin in the practice game playing the same shot. So, you know, it's just what we do. We know which bowlers are bowling what. We know where the fields are. We know how to try and apply pressure. And if it comes off, it comes off. So for us, it was about, you know, when they're coming over the wicket, same as Sunil Nareen. For me, you know, they obviously got their current ball to come straight down the line. So for me, it's actually a low-risk shot to go with the spin. And because you've only got 2 out to protect, you've got to back yourself. You know, it's a shot that I favour. You know, I find unless it's a step hit, it's a high risk shot for me to go aerial on the leg side. and you've got to apply pressure. So that's how I pretty much start my innings against spin.
Yeah, and one question. Do you think as the tournament progresses, given the nature of the wickets here, running those ones and twos are going to be as important as playing the big shots?
I would say 100% when you're playing on one side of the ground.
Yeah.
So, you saw today, that's a big boundary. So you'll see a lot of teams, especially with guys that have very fast bowling, they'll use that big boundary and try and defend the short boundary. As you get closer to the middle, that's when, you can back yourself a little bit and you can hit boundaries both sides. But, taking on that one for the big boys.
Okay, I think we've taken all the questions from in the room, so we'll now hand over to Zoom.
Yeah, thanks. We'll go to Scott Bailey. We'll try to keep it to one question each, guys. We've probably got about 7 or 8 minutes. So, Scotty.
I thought I was moving over there.
Yeah, Dave. Mate, I know you were always adamant you weren't out of form, but just spending time in the middle, how important was that? Because obviously in the past 4 or 5 months, you've spent very little time in the middle. So what can this do for the rest of your tournament in that sense?
Yeah, look, it was great to get out there in the middle, and spend some time there running between wickets. Little things like that just keeps your mind ticking. So, when you're in those pressure situations, if we were chasing, say, 10 and over at that stage there, you've got to train your mind as well not to panic. So they're little things that, you like to keep up. Obviously, in the last sort of 6 to 12 months, we haven't played that much cricket, so I haven't been in those situations too often. So it's good to get back out there, get cricket cues going. And identifying that. So, yeah, look, it was great to get out there, get some runs on the board, but most important was the start that we got, me and Finchy, from a batting point of view. And then through the middle, we're able just to control the innings. And it's obviously good and handy to have Smithy out there to run between wickets. We pride ourselves in that, and it allows us to run those twos and try and pinch the boundaries off the first 2 balls of the over.
Dan Batten.
So, David, just moving on to Mitchell Starc's injury concern, just how serious was that? And, how do you rate his performance being able to take a couple of wickets under some duress?
Yeah, look, it's obviously it was a nasty knock on the inside of the knee, so obviously shows great courage for him to get up. It's his front leg as well, so would have been in some pain. I know with us batters, we would probably miss a game with an inside edge to the knee. But for him, it was good to get him up and about. It's a World Cup. We're not going to, I know every single one of the boys in this team wouldn't miss a game unless they literally couldn't walk on the park. So credit to him. Obviously bowling nicely. He's got that seam presentation back and well, and he's bowling some quick deliveries. So it was good to see that trademark Yorker after he got hit. But yeah, it's good to see.
Anuj Mishra.
Warner, does that 50 came as a breath of fresh air for you?
Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, it was great. As I said just before, it was great to spend some time in the middle. And yeah, it's not so much about runs for myself, it's about getting yourself to a good start, and we managed to do that. So yeah, no, it's good to be out there.
Matt Roller.
Hi, David. You guys obviously changed the balance of your side coming into this tournament, bringing in the extra batter. Have you felt like that extra batting depth has given you license to go just a little bit harder in the power play?
Yeah, look, I think it does. We've got a bit of flexibility there in the middle, obviously. And I think it's dictated also as well by the wickets that we're playing on. So, you're going to have those, the runners in the middle, especially when you're coming up against an attack with 3 spinners like they did today. And, you've got to try and, have that balance. So, you can go hard at the top, as you said, and then you can sort of mix it around in the middle. So, look, we've got some firepower. I think, obviously, you look at England during the World Cup in 2019. They batted all the way down to the bottom. So, those players are hard to find. And at the moment, with what we've got here, it's just a very, very strong team, and it's an incredible one.
Andrew Wu.
Is he awake?
Yeah, g'day, Dave. Just awake, hanging in there. England next game. Do you see that as a bit of a litmus test, and is the confidence quite high in the team now after this win, and also scraping through the other night?
Yeah, look, it's Obviously, coming up against them is always going to be a good challenge. They've obviously got a good all-round side. They bat deep and they've got a lot of options with the ball. So they got high confidence as well. We know with their batting they're going to come hard, and in the bowling, you pretty much know what you're going to get. So it's about, as I said, it's applying pressure. If you can apply pressure in the first 6, minimise damage, it sort of changes the mindset of what they have to do. So that's the most important thing, and it all starts obviously with the first over and how we deal with that, which dictates the rest of that sort of batting structure in that power play.
Louis Cameron.
You shut him down big.
Hey, Dave. Well batted, mate. Just picking up on what you said there about having the extra batting firepower. Obviously, that takes out, the 5 specialist bowlers, which I know you guys have liked in the past. Any concerns, I guess, given Maxwell and Stoinis? I think they went for 50 off their combined 4 overs tonight. Any concerns that could be a bit of a weakness coming up against England?
No, not at all. If you look at Maxi last game, he obviously did a good job and this is the matchups that happen. This happens in the game of 2020. You can't pick either way. You're going to have to pick one of them. So for us to have that all-round option as well with Mitch Marsh, Maxi, and Stoin, we know they're not specialist bowlers, but they do a job and they do a great one. So these wickets at the moment, I think the other one we're playing on looks like it's going to have a bit more bounce and carry. It's going to come on nice. This wicket was a tad slow. So it's about identifying, obviously with Finchy when he's out there, which bowlers he wants to go with. So, yeah, they did go for a little bit tonight together, but we're not too worried at all.
We'll go to Scott Bailey and we'll go back to Andrew for the final question.
Thanks, Carl. Hey, Dave, just interested on your take across the IPL and what you've seen in this World Cup, that chasing teams, especially at night, are winning the vast majority of games. Is it just a due factor, or are there other facets at play there?
Yeah, I don't think there was much due there tonight. I think the bowlers, when you're out there and you're running around, I think the sweat comes down onto their hands. So I think that becomes a little bit of an issue. But I think just being able to assess bowling first, what you have to do from a batting group, I think that gives you the little bit of the upper edge. But then again, if someone gets 190 or 200, you're going to have to go hard. So I think if you bat, you've got to have the intent when you bat first. And obviously, you did say that about the IPL with chasing. It can be a little bit difficult, but you can't be too tentative when you bat first. You actually have to try and assess as fast as you can and try and put a above par total, especially out here.
Thanks, Scotty. Andrew Wu, do you have one more there, mate?
You shut him off, mate, before. He's gone to bed.
He's back. He's awake.
No, I'm done. I don't have any. Free to go.
Thanks, Wu. Go to bed, mate. Good night. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to David Warner for coming along. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers, Carl. Thanks, Dave.
No worries.
Actually, time.